Hey, 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 what's up? Welcome to Self Love Sundays. I am Monique R. Pagan, your emotional eating coach. Today, we are talking about the inner child. This has been a requested topic. I'm super excited to deliver it to you today. Thank you, Instagram, for joining. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube, I'm sorry I missed you last week. I will upload that replay as soon as I get a chance. Again, we are talking about the inner child. The inner child. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you are here, let me know that you are in the room. Say hi. If you are watching the replay, type hashtag replay in the comments below. I would love to know that you joined us and hopefully got something out of the share today. So, the inner child, the inner child. This is a topic that's important to me as an emotional eating coach because many of the people who come to me who struggle with emotional eating, the wounding that's driving them to reach for the food for comfort was developed in their childhood. Maybe they are hearing the voices of their parents, and the parents were hard on themselves about their own bodies, hard on themselves about how they ate, hard on their own children about how they ate, how they see themselves, their body image. And so, as adults, if we have not done any mindset work, have not done any reparenting, these thoughts still come up in our minds and they can sound like God. And so it's so important to do this type of work, especially if you're reaching for food for comfort or any other. I mean, we're going to talk about how the inner child shows up in your day to day life if you haven't reparented her or him. But in my clients, I see it a lot where they're really battling this inner critic that was developed in their childhood. And so this topic is such a big topic that we dive deep into in the coaching sessions. And I'm really excited to share just a little taste with you today. Jennifer says, great topic. Yes, yes. I see you, Catalina, on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. And so let's get into it. Oh, I wanted to share with you that did you know that if you have not reparented your inner child, that she or he is running the show today as an adult? Yes, 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 yes. She or he is running the show as an adult. So it's so important to reparent the inner child. So you might be wondering, what is the inner child? And I will share with you a definition that I got from the holistic psychologist. She is amazing. Her account on Instagram is just so full of juiciness. If you are not following her, you might be missing out. So her definition of the inner child is: the inner child is an unconscious part of the mind where we carry our unmet needs, suppressed childhood emotions, our creativity, our intuition, and our ability to play. And I would like to touch on the fact that yes, it's the unconscious part because between the ages, well, there's a little discrepancy here. So between the ages of 0 and 7 or 0 and 14, there are two different beliefs here or theories that go on. Is when we don't really have filters and we're walking around as unconscious minds. And so, whatever is fed to us by our parents, by our caregivers, by our teachers, whomever, that is what is programmed into our minds. And so, we begin to see the world through the lens of the child. Yeah, because that's when our minds were programmed. And so I think this is a very good definition, and I'm glad that she put in um, the suppressed childhood emotions, because if our parents were not guiding us well with how to move through our big emotions, we could learn to suppress them, or maybe we learned that certain emotions made us look as we were weak, as if we were weak, or we may have been told or model that our emotions were a burden to other people. We really learn emotional regulation through modeling. So, however, our parents, emotionally regulated themselves, that's how we learn to emotionally regulate ourselves as well. So, yes, they can guide us, but it's really learned through how they move through those big emotions themselves. Hi, Jess. I see you here on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, does that make sense? Michael is here. Happy Sunday. Good afternoon to Monique Arpagan. This afternoon. So happy that you're in the room. Hi, Michael. I'm glad that you've started to join me. I'm excited. So, what do we really need as children? We need to be seen, to be heard, and we need to be able to express ourselves authentically. And of course, with guidance. And so, if we went through our childhood not being seen or feeling like we are not being seen, feeling like we are not being heard and feeling like we can't really express ourselves, then that causes some inner wounding, right? And a lot of the times we can pick up people pleasing from this behavior or from this training, this conditioning. And so I was just speaking with a client a lot about inner child work because she has like a really huge inner critic in her mind right now that's from her parents. Both her mom and her dad were very hard on um, her physical body, along with her siblings and their physical body as well. And so we talked a lot about the inner child today. And I just missed. I was going to share something with. Oh, I was sharing with her how. Um, it's important for us to realize that our parents, number one, did the best that they could with what they had. Like they cannot meet our needs if they don't even know how to meet their own needs. And number two, we are the only person that knows exactly what we need. Like I am the only person that knows what I need. And I was sharing with her that I had to release the pressure that I was putting on myself as a parent myself. Like, I don't want to do this to my children, but because this was done to me, I don't want this to happen to my children because this happened to me. And so it was creating a lot of pressure on myself. And I really had to realize that number one, I'm going to screw up my children no matter what. And the reason that is because one, I'm moving through my own stuff. Two, they are the only people, they know what they need. I'm guessing at what they need, but they know what they need. And so when we become adults, it becomes our responsibility to give ourselves the things that we need. And we really need to move out of looking for our parents' approval, for looking for towards our parents um, for them to meet the needs that they didn't meet when we were children, and it's our responsibility to reparent ourselves today. We're not going to talk about reparenting today. That's going to be for next Sunday. So I'm going to do this in two parts. But I do want to share with you how you can recognize if you have a wounded inner child. Is any of this making sense? Thank you for the hearts on Instagram. Okay. So, recognizing the wounded inner child. Number one, I'm sorry, Instagram, you can't see the graphic, is you betray yourself to receive love. And always let me know if any of these resonate with you. You betray yourself to receive love. Maybe you said that you were going to do something for yourself, and then all of a sudden, someone that you might want to get close to said, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And you don't do the thing that you said you were going to do for yourself, so that you can fulfill their need because you think that it's going to make them love you more. Does that make sense? Number two, you have a hard time setting boundaries. This one is a big one because boundaries are one, you have to realize that you are worthy of the boundary. You're worthy of that space. You're worthy, right? And sometimes during maybe in your childhood, um, you may have said no to something and someone was like, no, you're going to do it anyway. Of course, within reason. And it's kind of hard for a child to not see things in black and white, right? And so you may have felt like your boundaries were crossed as a child. I know for me, sorry, mom, but she went through my stuff and I was like, no. no, no, no. And she consistently went through my stuff, and I didn't like that. And so if you're having a hard time setting boundaries, this could be a sign that you have a wounded inner child. Another way to notice is you have a hard time saying no. You are a people pleaser. You feel like, it's people going to think something about you if you say no. You think you have to be everything to everybody, and you don't. You do not. Another way you can recognize your inner child is you come up with excuses. When you are making excuses, that also means you're not taking responsibility for your life. You're not taking responsibility for where you are at this moment. And so that is your inner child showing up. Yeah, your inner child wants to be saved. Your inner child wants to be rescued. So you could be looking outside of yourself for someone else to rescue you. And so you come up with those excuses, and you might complain a little bit and trying to get the attention, and that like attention seeking behavior that can come up as well. You lose it emotionally and regret it later. Maybe you have like adult tantrums as an adult, but they might look very childlike, slamming doors, yelling, screaming, getting defensive. All of those things are signs that your inner child is wounded and needs healing. Yes. You, the next one is you get defensive. I just mentioned that. The next one is you often feel misunderstood. And so with this, what's happening is that as a child, you felt misunderstood. You didn't feel seen. You didn't feel heard. You didn't feel like your voice was valid. And so now that's showing up in your adult life, what actually needs to happen is you need to begin to understand yourself. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. We will talk about reparenting next Sunday. Um, that's something that I really get excited about, obviously. The next thing is you engage in harmful behavior regularly and cannot stop. So there's a lack of discipline, there's a lack of self worth. And this is where my clients come in with the emotional eating. They know that the emotional eating is hurting them. However, there's something underneath the behavior that's happening in their psyche that's causing them to continue to to harm themselves, to hurt themselves with the emotional eating. Yes? Is anybody resonating with this? I'm going to take a breath. Can you see yourself in any of this? Maybe in the past, maybe you've done some work already, or maybe you see yourself now. Yeah? We're coming up on one that I'm actually currently dealing with. I'll let you know. I think it's something that we consistently work on and that we consistently nurture our inner child on a daily basis. Okay. The next one is you take things personally. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, I've been like feeling myself taking things personally this week in particular. Um, some things are cycling back around. I'm like, I wasn't this sensitive before, but now I am. Okay, let's dig into this. Let's dig into it. And if you see yourself in any of these, I see that Jennifer says, yes, I see myself in some of these. Thank you for your honesty. It's okay. And you are not alone. You're not alone. It is not the end of the world. And it doesn't mean anything bad about your parents. They did the best that they could with what they had, or whatever caregiver like instilled thoughts and or caused the wounding to happen to your inner child. Today is the day where we can make change, right? So yes, taking things personally. The next one is you don't take responsibility for your own life. We talked about that when we talked about making excuses. Those two go hand in hand. The next one is I lost my place. You're constantly comparing yourself to others and feel inferior. I have a client right now who is dealing with this, and it's really coming up because her parents compared her to other people. Oh, so and so looks like this. Why don't you? oh, so and so is like this, then why don't you? So that voice c- is constantly in her mind now because her parents, that's how her parents were. That's how her parents talked to her. Yeah. The next one is you view your parents as all knowing and continues to desperately seek. Hold on, I got to scroll that up. What your parent is not able to give. There's a story I want to share. I've shared it before. There was this one time. This is like one of the stories I always share because it was such a pivotal moment in my emotional eating journey. And I was so glad that I caught it. So I was on the phone with my mom. And if you've been watching me, you've heard the story already. On the phone with my mom, and I wanted to vent. And when I called her and I started venting, and the conversation completely went in a way that I didn't want it to go. It didn't like go left field. It didn't go in a bad direction. It just wasn't what I wanted and needed at that moment. And so when I got off the phone, I immediately wanted chocolate. I knew exactly what I wanted. It came on abruptly. These are all signs of an emotional hunger cue. And so I stopped and I asked myself, I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? I didn't want chocolate before a few seconds ago. Now I want it. What happened? And I realized that, oh, I was on the phone. I called her for a specific reason. I wanted something. Now, I didn't tell her what I wanted from her. I didn't say that, Mom, I really need you to listen to me. I really need, it would be great if you comfort me and help me through this. I didn't tell her that. I just was expecting her to get it, right? And so I didn't get what I wanted from the conversation. And so I also, as I continue to dig deeper into, okay, what did I want from the conversation? I also realized that the thing that I wanted from her was something that I needed to give to myself. And is all that is what reparenting is all about, is learning the things that you need. Like, what do you need at your core? And learning how to give it to yourself. And that's what we will talk about on Sunday next week. So I just wanted to give you a little taste, open your eyes a little bit to what the inner child is, how to recognize it, how it would show up in your life, how it gets wounded, all of those things. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Um, yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. There's one thing that I wanted to share today afterwards. Well, there are a few things I wanted to share. So one, if you need help with inner child work, if you need help around emotional eating, all of my information is in the description of this video. So you can go to my website, see what I'm all about. You can also book a free call it's a 25-minute free call. We can see if we're a good fit for each other, if coaching is for you, if this is the right time. And I also wanted to thank a few people and recognize a few people today. One, they're all in the Empowerment Tribe, by the way. So the Empowerment Tribe is a tribe that I'm a part of. My coach is our tribe leader, Jeanette R. Smith. So I wanted to thank her for helping me find my purpose. Like, I would not be here if it were not for her. I would not be your coach if it were not for her. So I am very grateful that she's in my life. Hold on. Michael says, you betray yourself to receive love. You have a hard time setting boundaries. I'm guessing that those are the ones that resonated with you. Yes, yes, yes. I hear you. And it's interesting that you mentioned those two together because they do go hand in hand, right? Yes. And Jennifer is saying she loves our tribe. So yes. So yes, Jeanette has, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her, really. The other person I wanted to mention was Savalas Lofton, because he did a live video that just really sparked a fire under me, because it's been a little hard for me for the past couple of weeks. and I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. And he gave this message through a video. I don't know if it was pre-recorded or if it was live, but he just talked about how not to give up and to, follow your purpose. I wanted to thank Pamela Williams, who's also in the tribe, for unknowingly affirming me and letting me know that the work that I do is important and is impactful to people who I might not even know, and how it causes a ripple effect. And she actually sent me a clip of a video of what's her name? Of Hold on. Let me see if I can find. Her name is Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. And this is what I wanted to share with you, because after hearing about Chadwick's passing from colon cancer and seeing or learning that he continued to make movies while battling cancer for 4 years, making amazing films, showing up in excellence, and still battling this. Like, I'm about to cry. Um, it really touched me, and it really helped me connect with why I show up, because he said that he's driven by purpose. Because I was wondering, like, what made him, want to continue to make these movies and suffering and battling and going through chemotherapy and still making movies that are very impactful. And it was because he was connected to his purpose. And so that's why I thought it was important for me to shout out Jeanette, because she connected me, helped me connect with my purpose. And Chadwick helped me remember my purpose. And I was so moved by his story that I decided to donate to this fund that I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to make you aware of Dr. Hadia Nicole Green's work. Her foundation is the Aura Free Cancer Research Foundation. She is doing amazing, amazing, amazing things. I wish, let me get her thing up. If it goes, she's a scientist, she's a physicist, she has cutting edge research going on. She is currently killing cancer cells, human cancer cells in mice through lasers and nanoparticles. And her research is showing that she can use this technology to kill cancer in just one treatment. And I was so moved to donate to her foundation. And I wanted to make you aware of her foundation if you feel led to donate as well. I think it's a beautiful thing what she's doing. It's cutting edge. She needs the support to get this work, to get this treatment out of out of like the lab into like clinical trials so that she can actually try this out on humans and progress this. And her goal is to make it accessible, to make it affordable, and to make it effective. And we all need this. And I feel passionate about this. One, because Chadwick has already I'm on first name terms with him for some reason. He really impacted me just knowing his story, and also knowing that all four of my grandparents passed away from some form of cancer. And so I just want to share that. Her link is in the description as well. So if you want to donate and check out what she's doing, she's doing some really good stuff. So that's all I wanted to share. So that's a wrap for today. That's a wrap for today. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Again, next Sunday, we will talk about how to reparent your inner child. Super simple, easy. Well, Not easy. Let's just stick with simple steps. Simple steps you can take to reparent your inner child, to reconnect with her, and to begin to heal those wounds. Jennifer says, yes, yes, wonderful research. Please donate to help her get to clinical trials. Yes. And she needs a lot. She needs a lot of support, but it is so, so, so worth it. And I'm really happy to donate monthly. I really am. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was a pleasure. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye.